Okay. Who's not?
We weren't.
Who?
We weren't, but we are now.
Here now. Getting that video going. Okay, I'd like to call the public hearing for Fort William Henry to order. Ally, would you please read the public notice?
Notice is hereby given that a public hearing pursuant to Article 18-A of the New York State General Municipal Law will be held by the counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency on the second day of February 2022 at 4:15 p.m. local time via Zoom at the meeting information below in accordance with legislation S 7623A /A 8591, amending chapter 417 of the law of 2021 in connection with the following matter at Zoom information. The Fort William Henry Corporation, a business corporation established pursuant to the laws of the state of New York, having an address of 48 Canada Street, Lake George, New York, has requested that the agency provide financial assistance in the form of a partial real property tax abatement, a mortgage recording tax exemption, and a sales tax abatement regarding a certain tourist destination project to consist of the acquisition by the agency of a leasehold interest in certain real property located at 48 Canada Street in the village and town of Lake George, County of Warren, New York, and being known as tax map parcel 251.18-3-72. The planning, design, construction, operation, and maintenance by the company of a 3-season porch around the White Lion Room and kitchen expansion at the Tankard Tavern, the acquisition of an installation in and around the land and improvements by the company of machinery, equipment, fixtures, and other items of tangible personal property, and entering into a straight lease transaction pursuant to which the agency will retain a leasehold interest in the facility for a period of time and sublease such interest in the facility back to the company, all pursuant to Title I of Article 18-A of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, Chapter 862 of the laws of 1971 and the State of New York as amended. The agency may be providing financial assistance with respect to the project in the form of sales tax exemptions related to the construction and equipping of the project facility, a mortgage recording tax exemption on qualifying mortgages, and a payment in lieu of taxes which are consistent with the policies of the agency. Should other financial assistance be requested, it shall be consistent with the policies of the agency. A representative of the agency will be in attendance at the above stated time and place to hear and accept written comments from all persons with views in favor of or opposed to the granting of financial assistance contemplated by the agency or location or nature of the facility. The application of the company is available for public inspection during normal business hours at the offices of the agency located at 5 Warren Street, Glens Falls, New York, 12801. Minutes of the hearing will be made available to all necessary parties.
Thank you, Ally. Kathy, you want to give a brief overview of your project?
I would be delighted to do that. The project is a 3-season porch that will surround our White Lion Room, which is the 1911 version of the ballroom that was left after the majority of the hotel was torn down in the 60s. It will allow us to, at the same time, we'll be expanding our kitchen, which allows us to therefore run 2 full-service operations out of the kitchen to provide a food service for a year-round restaurant, currently being considered to be named circa 1855, as well as to continue to provide wedding services in the White Lion Room, which is off of the new restaurant. The new restaurant is the former Tankard Tavern, but these adjustments will allow us to provide year-round daily food service for our guests and any outside guests, where in the past, because our kitchen was not sufficient and we did not have enough room to identify that was strictly wedding versus retail food guests, we would have to stop retail food operations to allow weddings to take place. So this allows us to employ more people and provide services to encourage people to come up to Lake George year round and enjoy our area. The benefits are significant to us, and they help us to do this process in the right manner to bring the right economic development and jobs to the area.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy. And so I will open the floor for any comments or questions from the gallery.
Kathy, how many jobs do you think this will bring, both in wait staff and in kitchen staff?
On our application, we put a small number in terms of being conservative, but a year-round restaurant that would require upwards of 4 to 5 on the line, year-round benefited chef talent, and it is high-level talent because we will have a very good menu. I would suggest that it is anywhere from 4 to probably 12 to 18 people when the dust does settle. It'll also allow us to do weddings in a larger format and fashion, because we are upgrading the 1911 version with full fire protection systems, which was part of making any change to that building. We had to do that, and we're happy to do that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for the IDA or Kathy? Or Robert?
I also have Sam Luciano on our line. He's our president, if anyone had any questions for him as well.
Thank you. Sam, do you want to contribute anything, or?
No, the only for us is now with ice castles in town, we really become a year-round destination. And this restaurant has been long sought after by our company to be able to service guests on a year-round basis with a dinner operation. Very important to us.
Well, I suspect this will also keep some of the wait staff and cooks that go to Florida in the wintertime, because there's no place to work in Lake George when a majority of places shut down. So excellent, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dan?
Roughly how many events do you contemplate having a year? In other words, weddings or what have you? Do you have an idea of that?
Currently, we have anywhere from 30 to 50, and we do believe that we can do more weddings because the hardscape that's associated with this will allow us the flexibility, again, to have larger numbers and to also run it in conjunction with other activities on the property.
Sure. What's your current maximum that you can accommodate?
The number of people has to do with the fire code, and approximately 132, I think, is the number right now. And the fire chief and the associated people in that department are taking a look at how a new complete fire protection system will allow for a change in any of the numbers.
Okay, but you don't have that yet.
We do not have that yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Having heard none and asked 3 times, I now close this public hearing. And in 2 minutes, we will start our special meeting. So hold on to your hat and we'll take a ride.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, I pushed every button known to man, ran around the house 3 times, and I just got back.
Okay. But you were successful.
I don't know how, but I have been, yes. I'm
Your
on-
knee-
I'm also on here twice, if you notice.
Your knee must be better if you're running around the house.
I think he is IT challenged.
I am definitely IT challenged. My wife is not here, and nobody there can help me. Oh, somebody did. Somebody sent me some stuff.
Who's that?
I have no idea. Probably bit Michael.
Okay.
I thought you were politely telling Dave to get on the show.
So thank you, Nick. Now we can continue. Now we have your history.
Well, I voted no every time, so I guess it's all right.
I feel better, Mr. Chairman.
I don't remember any votes.
Oh, I wonder who I was voting then.
Okay. I would like to call this meeting to order. Special meeting to order at 4:30 and 30 seconds. Ally, would you please take roll call?
Craig Leggett,
Here.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Brian Campbell,
Here.
Jenny Sullivan,
I'm sorry, Ally, was that Jenny that you called?
yes, it was,
Here.
Mike Grasso,
Present.
Dan Bruno,
Here.
Nick Caimano,
Here twice.
Dave O'Brien.
Here once.
Okay, we have 8 out of 10. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Ally. First order of business is consider the approval of the Brookfield Energy Resolution to accept the project. I would entertain a resolution to introduce that. A resolution introduced by Mr. Biddle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dan Bruno and who else? Nick? Okay, good. Thank you. Any discussion on the Brookfield resolution? Okay, I would say Mike Ostrander did a finding statement on that. Would you just give an overview of the finding statement, please, Mike?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. As David sent to everybody, I put together a finding statement on the Brookfield Renewable Energy application. Just some points to highlight. In addition to a $16 million facility going into Queensbury, they are expecting hiring anywhere between 40 and 50 full-time employees, well-paid employees. 13 are going to be moving from their current headquarters located in Massachusetts to Queensbury. They have applied for sales tax abatement and a pilot. So the IDA should be fully supportive of bringing in a command center, a 24/7 command center to Queensbury, which will oversee all of the hydroelectric plants that belong to Brookfield, not only in the Warren, Washington County areas, but throughout New York. For those that are unaware, Brookfield Renewable Energy is one of the world's largest investors in renewable power. They have assets all over the world. The main control room and the dispatch operations for the facility will be located here. It's a 24/7 command center and will now be the hub for Brookfield Energy.
Thank you. Any questions before we take a vote? All right, I'm going to ask for a roll call on the vote, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan,
Abstain.
Mike Grasso,
I am for it, but I have to abstain also. They are Joe Gross Properties is a client of Gallagher and a client of mine. So for that reason, I have to abstain.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Nick Caimano,
Yes, I'm voting yes, Mr. Chairman, because I did have the audio here, A, and B, I read it, so I feel confident voting yes.
Okay.
and Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Okay, carried. So Brookfield is taken care of. Before I bring up the next item, Ginny, I need to put you in the waiting room because you are Glens Falls National Bank's involved in the financing. So you should be there. I'll let you in as soon as we're done.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, I thought I did it. Oh, there it goes. Good. Thank you very much.
I thought Nick would disappear.
I have.
So we have on the
Don't forget
table
there's
the
two of them.
resolution for Fort William Henry. Fort William Henry has made a good case that in order to successfully achieve this project, they'll need the financial assistance as they applied for. There's one finding we have to put in place is the fact that this is considered retail. However, it draws from outside the capital district area for most of their for business. So that would be the finding that they qualify because they attract people to the area. So, excuse me, somehow I got Mr. Grasso in here somewhere.
The other thing to note on this resolution is that it's contingent upon a seeker determination that the project hasn't completed its seeker review with the village. They're on the board for February 16th. If the village board issues its determination at that time, then this project will come back on the IDA's agenda to adopt the findings of the village. So there is that one contingency with respect to this project.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Biddle.
Ms. Kara, what's the timing on that?
They're potentially on they're on the agenda for the 16th, I believe. William Henry's the council, Bob Hafner's on the line too, but we spoke earlier today and that was the date he gave.
And then would we vote at the next, as soon as possible, full board meeting?
Yeah, your full board meeting is the 22nd. Your next meeting is the 22nd, if that is adopted at the 6th and the meeting on the 16th.
And Miss, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, the other point I just wanted to raise was that the resolution indicates a completion date of May of this year. The company has asked for an extension through May 1st of 2023. So if you approve this resolution, they're asking for an amendment to that completion date. And there was a letter that they sent over. I forwarded it, but I don't know that it got circulated to all the board members. So I don't know if Bob wants to mention the letter at this point.
If you want us to explain why, we certainly can.
Yeah, I think that would probably be helpful for the board.
Okay, our project, you heard Kathy talk about our project. We're moving forward with the kitchen portion of it. Getting the permits and the final approvals from the village mid part this month, we can not be sure that the three-season porch part of the project can be completed before our summer season and wedding season start at the beginning of May. So that has to be postponed till the fall after the season's over. And two other parts of the project, we can't complete the fire system until we finish that part of the project, because that's all part of it. And we can't finish the hardscape until after the 3-season porch is over, which we can't do during the winter. So that's why portions of this project have been extended due to items outside of our control. We don't want to hurt our business.
So, Kathy or Robert, does the renovations to the kitchen require planning board approval?
It does not. It only needed Department of Health, and they have given that.
Nice.
So I think one of the things we talked about was, in order for them to get done with the renovations and take advantage of sales tax, we approved the sales tax portion of it. And then the second portion, after we got the construction changes, that was what I thought we proposed, Carol.
I guess I'm not sure what portions are being proposed. We have to make a seeker determination. So if you want to bifurcate this project and take out part of the description, then we can do it that way. I'm not
However,
sure
the
what you're
village
asking.
has taken the position with the added parts of the project, like the hardscape, that they were not confident that it was a type 2 action anymore. We talked with the village, and they are taking the conservative approach, which we would advise, and they're doing making an unlisted action, and they have to include all parts of the project. So the determination that's supposed to be made on the 16th should include all portions of the project.
Do we know what we're
You
voting
would
for?
want to do seeker all at once with the entire project, since we've made it clear that there are all these different portions.
Right. I guess I understand what you're saying, that they're not going to be able to complete it. And this is to the chair and the board, but I understand what you're saying. They're not going to be able to move forward, but it's our understanding that this is on for review on the 16th.
Okay.
That's what they told us. I
So,
spoke with them a few times this week to confirm, and they did not raise alarm bells when I spoke with them, but I did not talk directly with Dan Baruch. I talked to
Yeah, I mean,
staff.
I don't necessarily think we should remove certain portions from this project, because we would then have to say, well, how much is this going to cost? How much is that piece going to be? How much is, and then do it in that manner. And like Bob's indicated, we can't bifurcate a project for environmental purposes. So we would have to take it as if they reapplied for one component of it.
so the action we're taking today is to approve the project based on the seeker and the planning board approval.
And we're amending the date or just moving the date
Correct.
originally to 23.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Biddle.
I so move.
Okay, so
Okay.
you moved the resolution subject to the seeker and the planning board approval.
I'll second it.
And second by Mr. Grasso.
Can I envelop the amendment into the addendum into this motion, or do we have to have a second motion, Kara?
No, you can just do as amended with respect to the completion date and the date that the sales tax exemption will expire. So that would be May 1st, 2023. The seeker contingency is included in the resolution.
Okay,
Fantastic.
so we're voting on the resolution as amended to change the completion date to May 1st, 2023.
Correct.
Any further discussion?
And was that seconded by Mr. Grasso?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yes. Okay. All right,
Do roll call.
roll call, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Michael Biddle,
Yes, ma'am.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Ginny Sullivan,
She's not here.
She's in the
That's
waiting room.
abstain.
Mike Grasso,
Yes.
Dan Bruno,
Yes.
Nick Caimano,
Once again, I did hear it, I read it, and I am voting yes.
and Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Carrie, there, Kathy, you're all set until we get the approval from planning board and all set. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
We
good
appreciate
luck.
your growth.
Yes, thank you.
Mike, please step up and see us.
Welcome back, Jenny. Sorry, but that was on advice of council. So we'll see. Okay, thank you. Just one note. I have signed the TDI documents on Monday, so, and I guess TDI has also signed them on Monday, so they're just putting the final papers together. So it looks like we got a deal on that. As the amended public benefit and the pilot payments as specified to somewhere in the tune of $269 million to come into Washington County over the next 30 years. So it's a very good win for the county. I tried to argue that we still need to put 10 miles in Hampton, but they wouldn't change the route just for me. So shucks. Okay.
It's not part of New York. Hey, Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Biddle.
I just want to thank you on behalf of the IDA and the County of Washington. You put a lot of hard work into this, as did so many other people, but thank you so much. It's a volunteer position that you have. And I just want to personally thank you and thank you on behalf of the taxpayers of Washington County for a lot of hard work that you put in to help make this happen.
That's very good. And I actually thought he was getting a $250,000 stipend, but I guess he's a volunteer.
Are you sure he
So,
isn't?
one of the people in, one of the attorneys said, someone made a comment, well, you're going to get commission out here. I says, well, according to our ethics policy, the only thing I can take is up to $35.
How many times did you take it?
Exactly.
Only one for that project. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just, one other thing in regards to that, the public comment portion of the TDI, the Champlain Hudson Power Express to the Public Service Commission ends next week. If any of the board members want to submit letters of support, that time frame is quickly coming to an end, just so everybody is aware.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. We've been talking for quite a while about marketing proposals and getting some information on marketing. Mike and I and Ally have spent some time with 4 or 5 companies interviewing them. And sort of talking, Behan Communications does a lot of the front work, but they then subcontract out web development, everything else like that. And we've had a relationship with Black Dog for many years. They've been very responsive. So what we're discussing is to bifurcate that and have them work jointly to support us. We still haven't ironed out exactly what role people are going to play. I did send out the proposals we reached. I think that using Behan's strategy and knowledge of the area, he has a very good knowledge of the economic development in Warren and Washington County, the operations in Warren County. But I thought that in marrying the two together would be a good fit for us. We're comfortable with Black Dog. They've been very responsive in a lot of cases for us and have done a lot of work for us. They've got a base knowledge of the website and the electronic means we need to do. So what we have considered is looking at the project is that Behan Communications was $11,000 for sort of the initial put together of all the background materials, the messaging materials, strategic communications for the IDA, and making sure that we have a key messaging throughout the organization from the chair down to the administrator and the executive director and all the board members within that. So they had a phase 2 of 15 to 20 professional services time per month at a monthly fee not to exceed $4,000. My feelings on that was that the phase 1 is a good strategy. I'm not sure what we really need in the phase 2. So my proposal with BHAN would be for the board to consider just doing the phase 1 and then figure out what we need after that. In other words, in looking at it, does the phase 1 give us enough that we could do the messaging communications ourselves based on what they are and use them strategically on an ongoing basis, but not necessarily 15 to 20 hours a month. I have a hard time figuring out what we're going to do for 15 to 20 hours a month. So it may be a lot less than that, but I personally would reserve that for a future determination. So then with Black Dogs, with the website, if I see if they got the right place, they also submitted a proposal to do the complete thing. With Black, but I think going with the strategy, I mean, Behan actually pulled out information from his basement about the IDA back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. He said he was just stumbling around and found the box. Well, he probably knew exactly where it was. So with Black Dog to construct the website to help with the brand development, marketing assets, and the social media identity, and doing a profile sheet, if my math is correct, that would have been about $10,000 altogether for website development and everything else. So total, we were talking about initially about $21,000. I'd like to turn over to Mike and get his input based on that. He spent a lot of time on this, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I concur with a lot of what Dave said. Behan Communications, their knowledge, experience, certainly Mark specifically his enthusiasm for the area and his connections to the business community, I think could prove invaluable for us. Working with him and his staff moving forward to develop a plan to discuss the IDA with various media outlets, social media posts, part of his weekly blog that he sends out. I think he and his company could be a huge resource for us moving forward, not just for the Warren, Washington County area, but even beyond. And then as far as Black Dog, their proposal in terms from a technical standpoint with the website, Jesse and his team have experience working in a collaborative effort with various entities on a certain project over in the Watertown Fort Drum area. So he and his team have knowledge to work with Behan, work with us, work with Warren County EDC in terms of making the website maybe a little bit more user-friendly, talking about the IDA online in a positive way, and certainly using both entities, I think could really be a huge lift for the organization as a whole.
I think overall, Behan could subcontract this work out to other organizations. I would prefer myself to have more control about who's doing that and more interaction with those people in terms of the website development. While the two of us will have to work together to do that. I think we've struggled with our messaging for several years. I think that if we look at in our reevaluation of our mission and our purpose and how we bring the IDA to the 22nd century, is that we can streamline it, get a good base, get a good messaging across, because we really need to reach out through not only ourselves, but working with EDC and other area organizations to get our message off, not just about what the IDA can do, but what the area can do to attract businesses and retain businesses. And I think one of the most important things that we need to pay more attention to is not only attracting new business, helping people expand, but as importantly, what can we do to help retain businesses? I think that in today's world, it's very easy for companies to start evaluating other areas, and we need to find a way to pay attention to how do we attract those people. We had one project that was here and ultimately went from relocating all their companies to Queensbury, in bifurcating their businesses, and part stayed in Queensbury and part went south. So we need to find good ways to attract and retain these businesses. And I think that is part of the IDA's mission, but not alone. We have to do that not only with the IDA resources, but with the assistance of the EDC, the two boards of supervisors on both sides of the fence. In a lot of cases, I talked to Saratoga Economic Development. They're bringing people in. We need to start working closer with them also, because they potentially are looking at overflow businesses, whereas two things happen is there's not the availability of land for people. But on the other side of the coin, there may be a better cost effect up here that with cheaper land or cheaper resources, that companies may want to migrate this way. And with the expansions taking place down there, there should be a lot of spin-off businesses. So, I mean, that's the reason I think we really need to revisit this. The website, we've had several areas in the past couple of years where the website's based on older technology. We need to rebuild those technologies, because we got one case now where calendars don't work correctly. And a couple other things don't work correctly, and we're struggling. So we need to update the technology. So I think that's where I think we are. And I will shut up and ask for questions and comments.
Comment is that we hired Michael, and you and Michael got together and you came up with this plan for marketing, and I think we should back you up on that plan.
Okay.
Certainly, Dan, certainly with everybody using the internet, our website has to be up to speed.
Yes,
Certainly.
that's right.
Yeah, and it's not just the website. I'm not trying to pick on the website, but there's certain other aspects that we need to start taking advantage of that are used in today's world. Love it or hate it, social media is an avenue we need to use to our advantage. And certainly, you know, the blog that Mr. Behan uses, the social media internet aspect is a huge one that we need to open up those avenues.
I think that from what I've heard so far, I think it's a good idea. It's a good start. If we want to supplement or augment this down the road, we can do that. But I think what you've described to me is a good plan.
Okay.
And what's the total cost?
Well, right now, my mental mass is about 21,000 with the two. And of course, there's options that could take it above that, but those are options that we would consider ourselves as we come to that point. I personally need to be more comfortable with the phase one parts of it before I want to expend any more money to the IDA, because if I got 2 or 3 thoughts. If we have good messaging together, what parts of this could Michael do? And we don't have to offshore this. Can he get the tools in the first part with supplement from other organizations such as Behan or someone else? Could through that supplement, he carry a lot of the more of the load in terms of that. So we don't have to outsource some of this. I mean, eventually the person that's doing economic development needs to have these tools, but also needs to help to develop those tools on his own to help with the messaging. I could probably use a lot of fine tuning myself on some of the things. But I think it's more important, I think it's as important that the board understand the messaging better. And I really think that that's where the IDA sort of, shall I say, not lived up its potential, is making sure all the board members have the tools and the messages they need to go out and take the message too. Because eventually, as we expand, we're gonna have to rely on the board members to get more involved in different areas. I hope my rambling makes sense.
Dave, do we have to bid this, or is professional services, we can just do it?
This is professional services. We went out and talked to, I don't remember how many firms, 5 or 6. Discarded some, right, or discarded some, but I believe this fits under professional services.
Okay,
Specialized knowledge is needed for this.
I'll move it if you need a resolution.
I'm going to propose that we get an overall blessing, and that we go back and meet with each company and fine tune what they want to do, what the costs were going to be, and go back to the board. But I'd just like a motion that is blessing taking that forward.
Before you make that motion, are you going to meet with them together or independently? I would suggest you might want to put them together.
Well, we beat them up individually enough. It's time to have a joint meeting.
Yes.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So move.
I think Brian made the motion. Dan seconds it.
Yes.
Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So do we have any business come before the board? We do have another matter we have to go into executive session for, but anything else come before the board?
I think it's no.
No one's got any
Motion
other-
to go into executive session, Dave.
Motion by Brian, second by
Nick.
Nick. All in favor?
Aye.
Mike?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
well, we just need a reason to go into executive session.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kara?
Well,
It's for a personnel matter, discuss employment history.
Thank you.
I think Mr. Barton was looking for, he had his hand up.
No, I was saying thank you, and I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
He's happy to leave.
Oh, you're waving?
Wait,
Oh,
no,
okay.
if Chuck's leaving, we don't have to go to executive session. We
No,
can.
right here.
We need executive session.
Have a
Chuck,
good
we're
day.
not talking about you, don't worry.
We'll just beat him up right here. The hell with it.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Chuck.
And Mike, would you please sign off, and Ally?
Drew Wardle is still connected.
Well,
All right, thank you, everybody. It was nice seeing you all.
You too, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Good work.
I've got to stop recording.
Are we adjourning right out
Gonna
of?
lose me again?
We're adjourning out of the executive session.
Okay.